I will move to editors so we get through this not too much too late. So there are some editors that are more suited for a GUI environment and some that are more suited for a command line environment. And if you're using the command line, then one of these editors is probably the best. The most powerful ones of them are Vim or VI and Emacs, but Emacs is probably better in a GUI environment, and VI or Vim requires you to memorize several commands. So Nano is probably easiest to use if you haven't used any editor on Linux before. So I would suggest that you now try open a Nano terminal or Nano editor, because I'm pretty sure that Nano is installed on all systems. So let's just try to say Nano, and then you can just start it with Nano, and then you can exit it with Control X. But you can also open a specific file that you already have. For instance, foo.txt. And I close this again, or you can create a file with it. For instance, let's say we have a new file here. So with Nano, and then the name you want to give your file. And then you can just start typing. And then when you want to exit and save perhaps, then you can see here at the bottom, it shows this symbol here. And this small hat means that you should hold down Control and then press X. So let's try do that. And since I now wrote something into it, it says, do you want to save the modified buffer? And if you press Y, it will save it. If you press N, it will not. So let's do that. And then it asks you, do you want to use the same file that you opened here? And if you had written to a file that didn't contain anything, if you had just opened it with Nano, it will ask you for the name for the file. But in this case, I'm just going to use the file I already had, the one that I opened. So I'm saying yes. And now this file is there. And let's see how it looks. With this command here, I listed it. I also showed hidden files, and I ordered it by time, so I get the newest file at the bottom. And you can see it has something in it. It's 54 bytes, and it is created at this time. Let's try see that there is something in this file. There is. There's the stuff we just put there. Okay. So let's look at how it is if you're running in a GUI. And for a GUI, I'm going to use ThinLink, for instance. And as I just showed you earlier, when you do that, you will have a graphical user interface. And it is this one here. And I would like to show you some of the editors here. And as I already showed you, to open a terminal, you could go to System, Applications, and System, and XFCE Terminal. And if you are there, you can use Nano like before, or you can use the editors that have a GUI interface. And to do that, you go to Applications at NSC, and then you go to Accessories. And you can see here there are several files here. There's Emacs, as I mentioned before. And there is a file called text editor, which may be a good one to choose to use, because that is fairly easy to use, and it also has reasonable number of commands. So here you can open a file, and you can create a new one by pressing here. You can save it. And here you can also have things like find and replace and things like this. So it is somewhat like Notepad. So that is one I would probably recommend to use if you don't have one you already prefer. On NSC, there is also one called NEditor. Let's see if I can find it. Here, NEdit. And that is maybe slightly more powerful. But those are the options that are probably the best there. And you can try and do this yourself also. And maybe let's take 5 minutes and let people try and open the editors and type something into them.